setup and you're Roll20, the most you can hope for, the best outcome that you could possibly get is to take one game off MVP Black. It's already considered a success, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's already considered a success. And now there's nowhere to go but up from here. We talked about their chances in the group.
Yeah.
Their chances in the group, day number 1, taking down one game off MVP Black, sets the stage for the rest of the group and for yourself to now your future over the next few days looks a lot brighter.
You make a great point because of the format and how this kind of is going to be shaping up from now, because that is arguably your biggest hurdle in your group if you are a team like Roll20 here. So that's very interesting.
The greatest sportsmen are a little bit delusional. They think that they're better than everyone else. You told it to me yesterday. There's something off about every top athlete. The way that they think is different from what others... They don't care how many times we say they're the underdog.
Right.
Maybe they think 1-1 is not even a success at all.
Maybe
Maybe
go for the 2-0.
They must have the 2-0 here against Black.
Let's see. Let's get into the draft. Game number 2 as we go to Battlefield of Eternity. Notably, this is the pick of Roll20. That previous map was MVP Black's.
Right.
So I can only expect some confidence coming out here from Roll20.
I mean, I just spoke to a Korean translator / coach, and I was like, oh, wow, BOE is coming out. That's a really good map for Black. And he's like, nah, it's not really. So let's see if they're not strong
I think it's called being humble.
Maybe.
Obviously, it could be.
But also, you know, we saw the Diablo and Medivh being strong in the North American scene from this team on this map.
You know what I want to see right now? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
The thing that excites me the most right now, who gets their hands on Zeratul? Because both these teams have high priority of Zeratul on this map. Whether you see Glaurung Zeratul, whether it's Kyochi on the other side or whoever is playing that, that excites me.
I think with the success of the last game, if they're leaving up Medivh Diablo, this is a map that Roll20 have played a lot of matches with that same composition on in North America, and they're very comfortable with that as well. I believe they will be going with that if they leave it up, but you know, with the Anubrak ban, MVP Black is showing that they're just gonna let it through again. So I'm a little bit surprised at this point, but we'll see how this game pans out.
Fan, for you, I'm kind of curious. Obviously, this is probably one of the better Alarak maps because you can telekinesis into somebody. Is the new Alarak a thing? Is that a viable thing here?
It's definitely a viable hero on this map, but the thing is, from what I saw last game, MVP Black is not used to playing against Medivh. They're going for kills against tanks and heroes in general when it's good normally, but with a Medivh, it's not as good. They used Cursed Bullet into Diablo while he was shielded multiple times last game, just completely wasting heroics.
Of course, amazing reflexes by Glaurung, but still, it's what it's designed to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Alak's kind of that similar boat where if you pick it, it's not that great into the Medivh.
Now, do they anticipate the potential of the combo of Diablo Medivh being stunted a little bit in the second ban phase? And
maybe just take it now.
Yeah, exactly.
The interesting thing to me is if they opt to pick Greymane, Glaurung is their Greymane player. We know Greymane on this map going into Worgen form, great for the immortal races. If not, you potentially give up Genji Greymane again, which they dealt with it in the previous game. It's obviously a little different on this map. But we know where Glaurung's going.
Well, this is interesting because they show one component of it, so they're in essence baiting out the ban.
Yeah, so they want MVP Black to ban the Diablo, it looks like. I know that, you know, in North America, Roll20 has run Medivh, not just with Diablo, but another one of their favorites to combo with it is Varian, so they have heroes they can use, even if the Diablo is banned.
So they're baiting it to then just go down that path. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, Zeratul, quite a rule breaker. No matter how good your Wombo is, if the opponent has Zeratul, you may not be able to perfectly combo. It's gonna be a powerful tool here for MVP Black. Picking up Zeratul is clever. He's good on this map. He does really excellent side soak during the Immortal, and he's got great teamfight prowess with Void Prison.
One thing to consider though is that looking at MVP Black's draft right now, Genji, Zeratul, Li Ming, that's
3 damage.
They're gonna have to have a single warrior and single support with 3 very relatively vulnerable heroes. Of course, they do have their own protection mechanisms, but if they're able to get a lock on someone, that could be devastating for MVP Black, no?
Exactly what Fan said. Their other combo is Varian, and that is their pick right now. This is their fallback option here, is Varian. He does really well. Leoric is their side soak. This is what they do. Roll20 is getting what they want in the Varian. You talked about it just now. If Zeratul or Genji finds his way on that back line, you can now isolate the hero, but you have to have a big damage dealer. Li Ming was taken away from you. They also tend to run Chromie. Now, Chromie with this composition would have very terrible, like, immortal damage.
Tyrael coming out as well. And
so you got to what is their damage?
Yeah.
This time around, I'm liking MVP Black's draft a little bit more. I do think with the Genji Zeratul and the way that BOE is just shaped compared to Tomb of the Spider Queen, you can put a lot more pressure on the Medivh. I feel like that's the angle that they're approaching this draft from.
Right.
You know, they're just going to try and kill your Medivh or kill your Malfurion. They have heavy backline threat. They have 2 heroes that are assassins that can get to the backline no matter what. And the second Medivh, for example, shields a tank or someone else, like you're a target at that point. You're vulnerable. Zeratul, Genji, they can follow you through portals potentially, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can reach the backline.
Greymane will round things out. It's amazing how he's gotten this far down a draft on this map, actually.
It's very telling of Game 1.
Yes.
Because Game 1 happened, that's why Greymane's at the bottom here.
Yeah.
Can we cheat on analysis and just quote what we could overhear Glaurung saying to his team?
You may. I give you permission.
All right, so we could have figured this out by now, but it's very direct on what their strategy is. You find the hero, you taunt them, then you can go into something like Curse Bolt. That's where your burst damage is, and then you can combo off that with everybody else. So, you know, they have that burst damage. You know, we haven't seen many other people on Greymane other than Glaurung for their team, so it's going to be different, but still just as effective.
Personally, I've always been a tad skeptical of a solo Tyrael as a warrior. But if any team is going to make it work, it is usually an Asian team with MVP Black, right? They know what they're doing with a composition like that. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, they let the Medivh through again. They let the Diablo through in the first phase, too. So you have to imagine that they're at least somewhat comfortable dealing with this strategy.
Yeah.
I do wonder, so Battlefield of Eternity, obviously, it takes place a lot around the Immortals in the middle, and Justin, his positioning for when he goes to QN to hit the walls is phenomenal. It's better than any. Your opportunities, I think, are a little bit less depending on if you're defending or being aggressive. Your opportunities are a little bit more limited, but if there's anybody that can pull it off, it is going to be Justin.
Well, time for predictions because I don't want to delay any longer. I want game number 2. Groby, we're starting with you.
MVP Black has fallen back on their comfort that they showed at GCWC. Yep. They just go full damage. Zeratul, Li Ming, Tyrael, they were doing exactly that. That means they've been pushed to the brink. I'm on the Roll20 train now, actually. I love what they've gotten. It looks like they've gotten exactly what they want to. This time I'll take the risk. YOLO, Roll20.
Nice.
I don't believe in the shutout happening this time. I am going to go MVP Black on this one just because I think that they are more comfortable with their roles. I think they do have the better draft this time, and I just can't see them going down 0-2.
Betraying America, I see.
I'm going to have to go with MVP Black as well for one last time, but I am dropping them in my personal ranking quite heavily at this point. I think this is going to tell us how much of the show is Glau and how much of the show is Justin from last game, because I think Diablo is leagues ahead of Varian in that aspect. So if Roll20 can win again, then the Medivh is, I think, the factor that everyone has to be worried about.
Where can the people keep up to date with your personal rankings of fan? Is that on a website somewhere?
No, but I mean, maybe I'll tweet it out one day.
Fantastic.
Like that.
I like that. All right, thank you very much, gents. Of course, you can vote out there as well with the hashtag of each of the teams. And, well, things changed. Things changed, boys.
Bandwagoners. Oh, wait, me too.
All right, well, thank you very much, gents. It's time for game number 2. If you did miss game number 1, oh boy, you missed something special as we head over now to Kaldor and Trixler.
The party continues here as the North America train continues to chug along, and we're getting ready for our second match of the day. Are you ready for MVP Black and, of course, Roll20 facing off?
I'm ready.
Yeah?
The last game still has me a bit in shock, but I want to see what happens now. And Chat, by the way, is a very fickle beast. I mean, that was a complete reverse on the predictions here. But we are heading into the game, ladies and gentlemen. And over to the left side of the map, we have MVP Black.
There we are. Resets me playing Genji, Kyocha on Zeratul, Sake on Li Ming, Tist on Tyrael, and Meriday on Rhaegar.
And of course, to the right side of the map in red, we have Roll20 with a lead in the best of 2. We have Buds on Malfurion, Glaurung on Medivh. We have Justin on Varian, Yoda on Leoric, and Prismaticism is playing Greymane this time. And Roll20 tries to take down MVP Black with a 2-0.
Roll20 on a map that they are very familiar with. We'll see if they can pull it off again against MVP Black. Now, one of the things that Roll20 does well here on this battleground is they make sure to stay on the experience train, especially all the way to level 10. But with Zeratul being in the mix, MVP Black has tools here to handle that.
Yeah, and talking MVP Black, this game is going to tell us a lot. There is oftentimes the A lot of teams have the thought process going into a group stage that they are trying to hide strategies and they are just believing themselves to be so much superior that they don't have to show everything to go up against a team that they perceive as being worse. Maybe MVP Black got a bit overconfident here, and that's why they lost the last game. But maybe it's also just Roll20 playing out of their mind and showing the Koreans that they are not a team to be trifled with. This game is going to tell us all that, because MVP Black, they have to win here. And if they don't jump on this map, then I think the Koreans are going to have a very, very rough time.
I mean, look at their setting up on the map here. They are so defensive compared to what they were early on Team and Spider Queen. Now, obviously on Team and Spider Queen, you have to rotate more, you have to get the wave clear and such, but MVP Black already looking a bit different here in the early game, respecting the potential of Roll20.
They definitely have to approach this differently. They have to take this way more serious than what happened on the last map. It's already bad enough that they dropped the map in the first place from their perspective, since they have the attitude, okay, we want to be the #1, we want to win this tournament, or at least make the grand final. But if they would drop another map against Roll20, that would be the ultimate disaster for MVP Black. So they have to show a completely different style, and I don't fault them for playing a bit safer here. But Roll20, I mean, they have so much momentum going for them right now. They are in an amazing spot.
I love how they're controlling the battleground here. They make sure to clear out both waves. They come in for an immediate rotation. They had 2 people sitting in the middle for when the Immortal spawns. They land a root here on Genji. He falls down low on health, and they have great defense already.
Yeah, Roll20 is really good at these snap decisions to go for a target. And we heard our panel talk about the shot calling, and it's really one of the key things about Roll20, that Glorang is just that leader they have. They follow him, and he makes these calls, and everybody is then on the same page. And that just shows when you're looking at these snap calls that he makes here. So MVP Black definitely has to be careful. And as Jehao said during the analysis, for Roll20, this is already a success. Everything else now on top of it would be an even bigger bonus. But them taking a map of MVP Black is already a win.
Well, so far, they're controlling the Immortal well. We have Prismatic constantly moving in and clearing out that Immortal on the top, but Tiss has been doing a great job of making sure to move in and trade blow for blow, while Zeratil's been in the top lane clearing out the experience. Both teams hitting level 4 here and getting their talents.
Also, one of the things that I want to highlight a bit when we're talking talents is that we have on Rhaegar, Wolf Run taken, and also the Feral Heart. It's not really what you usually see on this map.
Yeah, for Rhaegar there, getting set up for the Wolf movement, but the Wolf Run does help you move around the battleground pretty well there, get away from the escape to get dived on, and there's a first blood, Roll20, taking away Rhaegar. That Wolf was not fast enough.
Exactly, the Wolf wasn't fast enough, and you also, as they drop Genji, have of course to consider that with them taking Wolf Run, you don't have Lightning Bond, which helps you so much at pressuring the Immortal. So Immortal pressure is taken away, and they still lose 2 heroes. MVP Black is... I'm not sure what's happening here, but Roll20 is definitely ruining MVP Black's day.
Well, Roll20 moves in for the Immortal, and we have begun the race with Li Ming and Kyocho on the right side here. They're going to go for the interruptions. Tist on the back right, going straight for Glorang, while Prismatic is focusing down the Immortal. They just want to go for the race. They have a portal to escape on the top right corner. Can they finish the Immortal? No! Barely missing out on the last couple of hits.
But even more importantly, Reset is not able to finish the heroes off. We see Leori go through the portal. We see everybody racing away, and this Immortal is eventually gonna fall and end up in the hands of Roll20. They go in and take it. They proc the camp now too and take that. This is great play by Roll20. This is impressive. This is absolutely fantastic what they're doing. They are escaping, they're taking the Immortal, they are able to time it with a camp on top of it too. They have a massive push now through the top lane. Ideally, of course, the Immortal would have moved to the bot lane so that they have pressure on both of the lanes. But this is... I really want to see MVP Black step it up right now, because I'm going to be brutally honest here, I'm very disappointed.
Well, for now, they have to be on defense here, as they're clearing out the waves, the Immortal pushing in the top, and you got to yell at that portal that was up on that top right corner of the Immortal. That made it hard for Roll20 to get chased down by MVP Black. They couldn't chase him into a choke because of the portal movement, and the portals continue to be great here. Just the threat of an engage in the top left is making Black play a bit more defensive. Now, they clear out the Immortal, but lose half the health on their fort.
They lost a lot here, and Glorang is playing fantastic on the Medivh, always shielding his allies. The portals are on point exactly where they need to be here. Now, let's keep in mind, of course, that MVP Black has a draft that once we hit level 10 gains a lot of momentum. The idea is to dive into the backline. They are really heavily banking on the Genji and the Zeratul together, putting the pressure on heroes like, for example, Malfurion, just trying to get those kills in. Snap kills with a lot of burst, Li Ming following it up with a combo. But for that, their coordination needs to be a lot better than what we've seen so far.
Well, the coordination for Roll20 is much better. They get another takedown, another pickoff, and they're going to try and go straight for this camp here. Reset moves forward, bring out the deflects. Greymane does fall. So MVP Black gets their first kill of the series, but Merryday falls in the back left. A 2-for-2 trade.
As Malfurion dies, it's a 2-for-2. We see them moving in again. But MVP Black at least has 2 kills on the board right now. So they are on the scoreboard. Roll20 still had an experience, took the camp, and has 4 kills total. This is... I'm impressed by Roll20, and I'm disappointed by MVP Black.
Yeah, right now it's all about racing to level 10, and you mentioned that Black does have potential at level 10. They're full on dives, a Void Prism being available, Genji, of course, moving in with the Li Ming reset being available, but I would argue that Roll20 has incredible anti-dive. Force of Will, Twilight Dream, Lyric and Tomb if you have to move that route, and of course Varian with Taunt. They're just equally as scary.
Yeah, they definitely are. You're absolutely right about it. Also, when you think about how this currently works, what they're doing here, they have so many tools against Genji and Zeratul engaging, since they not only can just charge in with a Varian once that the 2 melee assassins are making their play and get a taunt in, but we also have Malfurion with a quick silence. And once that hits, if a Genji, if a Zeratul go in deep and that silence hits at the right moment, then they are completely helpless. So that's going to be big here as we see a next Immortal being fought over.
And a fight happening here for Roll20. Now, typically you would see teams play a little bit more defensively here as they want to get to level 10 with them having that lead, but Roll20 sitting near their Immortal isn't afraid to go in for some trades. Kyoja comes in and hits a protected Variant.
Yeah, reset in the back. Kyoja to the right. They're trying to go for Greymane here. Prismaticism needs to be very careful. Nice protect. Well played by Glorong, but the kill is still in there.
He goes in, he gets the bite, and is going to get the takedown. He's going to live here. Glorong with Force of Will is panicking, trying to escape here. He gets picked off and will be losing out on his master touches.
Triple kill as we have Sake getting reset after reset. That's the quad kill right there. Calamity. Sake just completely popping off on Li Ming and taking one target down after another. This is looking much better for MVP Black right now, and this is what so many teams are afraid of when they're talking about MVP Black. This is what they have not been able to show in game number 1 because Roll20 shut them down so hard.
Yes, the execution is flawless there from Black, getting the kills before level 10 hitting and also taking a lead in experience. They're about to hit a level 11 now here. Roll20 helping out with the clearing on the right side. Scouting drone helping out with the scouting of Zeratul in particular, but Roll20 behind is looking a little bit more scared here.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the moments where Black is starting to be a bit more confident. It's a great map for them. They love playing on Battlefield of Eternity. They had fantastic games also last year here, one of the shortest games they had ever played in competitive Heroes of the Storm on this map in particular. And they love these team fights. So now that we have the 10s in play, there's of course a lot of the synergies that we've been talking about. Justy going really deep with a charge on his Variant here, as the Immortal is still being fought over.
Justin being left alive though. Glorong using Force of Will himself as Kyoch is going in for the engage. Here is the Void Prism, Prismatic on the right side. The Dragon Blade being used as well. We're going to have a fight occur here. Twilight Dream does connect, but Tis will be able to walk away. Zeratul, however, does fall.
Really well done with the charge, the taunt, and then the silence. But now we have the counter kill against Greymane. The fight is still popping. Sake with the hits on the Li Ming goes in with the Calamity, gets another kill as Varian is being dropped here and tries to follow it up with another one. Reset, chasing, getting Loda on his Leoric, and Butts barely being protected.
Oh no!
No reset for Genji, and that's his demise in the end.
He does fall, but the Immortal does go to MVP Black.
Genji in that case would have gotten the kill if not for Medivh, and that kill would have allowed him to move back out. So basically, Glorong just killed Medivh. Goes in, protects Malfurion. Malfurion doesn't die, and Genji finds himself on the wrong side of the wall, and he's just simply looking at it.
He's like,
well,
whoops.
Yeah, I think that's it for me now.
That's the hard part of playing Genji, taking that temptation and make sure to foster it where you need to. Now, we do have the fort being killed in the top right corner. We do have Glorong helping out with the fights, and there will be a leyline seal in 8 seconds as well as an entomb. So MVP Black takes the opportunity to rotate out and start heading towards the bottom lane, maybe hoping to pick up the Leoric or even move on to a fort.
As we've also been talking a bit about the talents here, I want to quickly highlight that we have second wind on level 7 for Varian over Live by the Sword. So that's another thing to point out here. We have a couple of talent adjustments overall. Fealty onto Death also for Leoric, who of course held the solo lane at the beginning of the match. There's a couple of adjustments. Greymane going not for the cocktail build, but having more focus on Wolfhard here. So definitely a few adjustments from both teams. We've been mentioning Rhaegar at the beginning of the match without the Lightning Bond.
Look at how MVP Black is dealing with this engage so far. Well, here's an engage that does connect and kill off Tist. Wait, he's still alive here. Saint comes out. Leyland Seal on the right side. Rhaegar with the heal on the left. Does for it, but he misses out. And Merryday for 7 seconds will not have his ancestral healing.
I feel that is a kill. That's the death that he could have prevented here. But at the beginning, it was amazing how long he kept himself alive here. Void Prison on the ground right now. Roll20 looking for an opportunity to first of all save Varian, but maybe even get a counter kill. Can't really lock them down here. It's a nice leading experience for MVP Black. They have the talent advantage, or they had it for a moment, but now Roll20 reached 13 as well. 9 kills versus 7. A much more even game than what we've seen on Tomb of the Spider.
Yeah, we definitely have a game on our hands right now. The next Immortal phase is going to be pivotal for both of our teams. One, because Fort's going to be falling and Capes will suddenly be under fire. Now, both teams grabbing on the right side and the left side, the mercenary camps, to get pressure in the top and the bottom. There is a chance for that Fort to fall if Roll20 is able to get that pressure applying all the way forward, but MVP Black already pushing in the bottom, forcing Roll20 to come and respond.
A quick update as well on the Master's Touch. We currently have 22 stacks for Glorong. Need to be careful with this. To the top lane, the camp is still pushing, and Leoric is still in the vicinity. Zeratul making his way over to deep push it, but Yoda is trying to pressure in on level 13. We saw him now also with a Crushing Hope. That's extra damage if he gets the entire duration of his Drain Hope through. Makes him a bit more dangerous in these situations, but it's all about the Immortal again. And Roll20 suffered quite a few hit points on their own Immortal already.
Yeah, they're suffering with this position in particular. Sakek is still on the left side here and keep poking around with the orb. So this kind of forces Prismatic to move over and start burning down the Immortal. So this will be a bit of a weird tussle between our two teams. Tist immediately does get taunted. We're going to have the Root come out as well, but he will survive. Ice Block used to dodge out on the damage coming from Li Ming, and here is Leyline Seal.
Leyline Seal is being used. Immediate reaction from Rhaegar this time. Getting the Ancestral through to Tyrael. They're jumping in again. Malfurion is already down. The Void Prison is on the ground, as we're seeing once again Greymane trying to get some kills in here, but it is instead Genji with the Dragon Blade ripping apart Leoric and dropping Varian.
Reset, keeping up with the resets, moving in here, looking for another kill, but will be forced to retreat. But the main reward here is to move on to the Immortal. And so far, that Zeratul really seems to be the answer here to Medivh. The constant pressure on Glorong has made him become a bit more selfish with his force of wills. He's constantly having to wait out for Kyoto to move in, which has caused the death here of Buds a couple of times.
There's definitely a lot of things happening in that backline since we have Zeratul and Genji both jumping in deep and trying to get their kills in. So it's really rough, as you already said, for Medivh to find the proper target to keep alive. And they didn't capitalize on the Leyline Seal either. They were trying to go for Tyrael, but was only a commitment of Rhaegar at that moment, and the Ancestral shut that down pretty heavily. So right now, MVP Black is once again on the move forward, and they have reversed the situation a bit. They have a level 16 talents, they have a 1.5 level lead, and a really strong Immortal with roughly 70% shield still remaining to go through that bot lane.
Yes, this is quite tanky here, and guess what? Holy Ground has been unlocked. Makes defense much harder here for Roll20. They move in, start getting decent pressure on the right side. Yoda getting poked down heavily, though. Genji moving in for an engage with Holy Ground locking him out, but Force of Will will keep him alive for a little bit longer, but finally, Leoric does fall.
Roll20 trying to fight here. I'm actually a bit surprised that they didn't let the fort simply go. Now they lost Leoric, and they're taking their stand at the wall of the keep. But we still have MVP Black pushing through here, and they get the kill. They go in, they get Greymane, and they drop another Void Prison.
Void Prison set up, and Sake will be able to set up his own engage. Justing does turn around, though, gets a taunt on Li Ming, and Li Ming will fall. But Justing himself in trouble, dropping his shield at the last second. Bud's using Twilight Dream to live for now, but Justing, 3 members down. 4 at Roll20, and MVP Black is stomping forward after taking a keep.
But they lost 2 heroes. They lost Li Ming, they lost Zeratul, and they cannot finish the game here. Even with, at the end of this, still Varian and falling, they were able to get Li Ming, get Zeratul, and therefore save the game, at least for now.
The game has been saved, and Roll20 does lose a few members, but they finally hit 16. So this is the point where they have to make a stand, as MVP Black at level 18 will be creeping towards level 20 and keeping up pressure on their opponents. If they can get to 19.5, win an Immortal phase, that's where they can go for lethal, start winning the game.
Yeah, at this point, everything is, of course, stacked in favor of MVP Black. You get the keep at the bot lane, you have taken the fort at the top, you have a lead of 2 levels, and you're looking quite strong. But Roll20 is still getting their kills in. And now they have at least a fight on even talents on their hand. The entire defense before, at the keep, happened with them lacking the level 16 talent, which was, of course, a huge advantage for MVP Black. Roll20 kept themselves alive, and now they're trying to fight. They even fight, but they're losing Grayman, their main damage dealer, once more.
Leoric was not here for the fight, and MVP Black converges on the entire area. Malfurion is left for dead. He's low on health, goes for a last-second heal, but it's not enough. Justing himself, trying to stand here against the entire squad, but he will fall. And MVP Black, you have awakened the beast, Roll20. They are moving forward.
Triple kill against Roll20, and MVP Black is on the move. The Immortal coming back into play in another 25 seconds, but they want to at least drop the wall of the key before that even happens. Go through the wall and open up another big win condition. If they can now start to take the Immortal, they steal the camp away, but if they get a big Immortal right now, then Roll20 would just be annihilated here. The bot lane is pushing, the top lane is pushing now, and that is buying MVP Black a lot of time in just a few seconds to get a massive, massive lead in terms of Immortal damage.
Yeah, it feels like Roll20 now is going to be in a state where they have to go for hyper-aggression the moment that Varian spawns. They have the smallest of windows here to get an engage that could work out for them. So watch Glowrung here, watch for his portals. He's going to try and force a fight as soon as he can.
Yeah, right now, halftime show nearly reached. They're starting to force that fight, as you said. They can't wait for the 20. That would be a disaster. But we have both lanes still pushing with camps, and that's a problem.
Sanctification comes out, as well as Ancestral Healing. Here's the Leyline Seal to mark out some targets.
They're losing already. More hit points on the keep up at the top lane. And the bottom is still pushing through. Leoric is low.
Yoda getting low as well. So is Glowrung on the left side. Tisk going for the kills here. Reset as well. Going to continue the engage. Yoda with a sliver of a health bar. Finally, the resets do connect. And MVP Black takes out 2 members. And they are looking for a third here on the left side.
Resets all over the place for Genji, for Li Ming. Sake popping off completely. Getting kill after kill. That Li Ming is wreaking havoc. Genji alone on 82,000 damage. It's a quad kill as Medivh falls, and this is the beginning of the end as MVP Black walks towards the core and starts to take down Roll20 on Battlefield of Eternity.
Roll20 earning a victory in game number 1, but game number 2, MVP Black was having none of it. They go for the core here. It drops down. It will hit 0%, and MVP Black scores a point of their own here in the group stages.
Well done by MVP Black, definitely showing up with a much better performance on the second map. But for them, losing a map in this first match is still a very big upset. Roll20, on the other hand, they stomped down on the first map, and they still had a very solid showing, especially in the early and mid-game on Battlefield of Eternity.
Zeratul really seeming to be the answer there. Really keeping a lot of pressure on Glowrung, forcing him to use Force of Will himself. Budge is a little bit too far out of position occasionally there. Even the taunts on the Tisk were never enough there. He continually walked away from the fights, even walking through some roots with the aid of Meriday there, helping out with the kills. So overall, MVP Black really bring it together here in game number 2 and looking a little bit more serious than they did in game number 1.
They definitely do, but Roll20, they already showed up. They showed everyone, hey, we are here to win. We are here to take games, and they did it against MVP Black. This is a huge success for them. Great showing, and we are in for a very interesting group. I'm happy for them.
This is only day 1 here of the mid-season brawl. Gosh, we're so spoiled here with the HGC. So yeah, I'm completely excited to see more of Roll20. I'm glad the confidence for them is showing off here, though, a little bit. Again, after we talked to them yesterday, they mentioned we're much more confident than we were at the Western Clash, and it showed there in game number 1. So going into future series, I hope to see more and more from them. But MVP Black here looking to keep a stay here and take number 1 in the group, as everyone's kind of expecting to do so.
Yeah, I mean, we had great games so far. Fnatic with a perfect showing. We had Nomia with just absolute amazing games. And now Roll20 here against MVP Black. That was a pleasure to watch. But of course, there's more games coming your way, and we also have a few more things that our analysts have to say about that second game in the series between MVP Black and Roll20.
That's right, Kaldor. We have to say it because MVP Black making the recovery there. It felt like as much as their initial bans weren't necessarily truly tailored towards Roll20, their draft had power behind it, Grubby. You were mentioning they're going back to their old norms, comforts, whatever you want to describe it as.
Yeah, Tyrael, Zeratul, Li Ming, Kharazim is what they used to run pretty much every game. Anytime they could just do like a standard draft. And even though it seemed to work together kind of weirdly, like it doesn't have very obvious synergy, but just they are all so good at these very important heroes with resets, with Void Prison, with Holy Ground. And they had a really good showing here in this game. They recovered well, and they countered the thing that they perceived to be the greatest threat in banning Diablo.
Yeah, perfect. Resets with reset. I like it. Overall, though, I think what we saw there was, I think that Genji is going to show to be one of the big playmakers of this tournament. And in the hands of MVP Black there, it did look strong.
It looked really strong, and most notably, when there's a Zeratul in the game, it creates chaos, right? There's always going to be that ultimate X factor of what does Zeratul bring to the table. I said it as soon as the draft started. Kyocha's Zeratul is one of the most well-respected Zeratuls in the world, without a shadow of a doubt. And he showed that he made a lot of good plays. There were some moments, though, but we were over here like going on about the Holy Grounds every time, locking Greymane out, and they capitalized on all those. So we see MVP Black coming to form. We heard them. They were far more vocal in game number 2 than they were in game number 1, which means that I think they woke up.
Yeah, they did look like they'd woken up for sure. Fan, the replay man, I hear you have us something to go again.
Yeah, so we can look at this replay here. It's another fight where I think the turning point of the game happened. So you can see a Void Prison doesn't really do that much. It was early Void Prison, and in a second here, you'll see once Mouth gets out of the Void Prison, he hits a max range silence on Kyocha. So that was really well played by Buds. Gets the Zeratul pick off here. Zeratul dies. This is now a 5 versus 4. And if we could pause for a second right here. So this is a great fight for Roll20. This is somewhere where Roll20 can really turn this game. But the problem is, going back to what I said, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. I want everyone to focus here on Greymane. So what happens is he rolls forward and kind of into a random orb by Sake, and he's all of a sudden at 20% health, and Genji just instantly comes in, kills him. And when you're playing against a double reset comp like Li Ming Genji, you cannot give him the first kill. Once you give him the first kill, you can see disaster follows. They just turn, get the Sanct off, even though it was initially a 5 versus 4. You gave them the first kill. You give them so many free Li Ming spells. And even though they had way higher health pools on Roll20 and a 5 versus 4, you know, they gave MVP the inch and they lost the mile.
And to be honest, and it's easy to nitpick in these slow motion replays, but you look at that, you don't necessarily see this is a moment where Greymane has to roll forward and actually like catch up. It wasn't that kind of situation.
I was about to say eyes on the prize, fan. Oh my god, for pointing that that moment out. That was eagle eyes. Very well done.
But they looked a lot better in defeat than MVP Black in game 1. Overall, if you look at the two performances, Roll20 did pretty well, and that's why you're here, Glaurung.
That's right. One of my favorite North American buddies. Hello, Glaurung.
How's it going, man?
It's not too bad. Oh, a little bit higher.
Oh, my bad.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
So, firstly, congratulations on that first win, going into that series. A 1-1 coming out with it. I straight off the bat, happy with that result?
Not particularly. I mean, obviously taking a game off Korea is great.
Yes.
But I feel like riding the momentum from game 1, we had a really good opportunity to take game 2. I think we got a little bit too aggressive and hyphy, and I think we can use this experience to make adjustments later in the tournament because this is just the first of many challenges.
Right. Gentlemen?
I think your game number 1 against Black will go down in history. 22-0, never forget. It was very impressive, not just the gameplay and the suave combos that you guys did with Diablo, with Medivh, the trust, the follow-up by Yoda, the Twilight Dreams, the Leyline Seal Apocalypse combos. This looks like a very well-oiled machine. And MVP Black, for the first time in their career, I think, looked chanceless. How do you feel about that game?
I mean, obviously that game I felt great about. I was really hyped. I think we got exactly what we wanted and executed it properly. I don't expect us to get a draft like that in the rest of the tournament, so the tournament is going to be even more challenging than before. But yeah, obviously super happy with that game.
Fan?
So given how you performed in that game 1, where, you know, I don't think you expected to go 22-0 against MVP Black, even with a draft that you were very comfortable with. I asked you before, and you wanted top 3 in the group. What do you think your chances are now?
I actually don't know how many points we get for this set, but I'm still aiming for first in the group, if at all possible. That's my goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can do it. Go in A.
Yeah.
There's definitely the potential there. So, I mean, looking at the rest of your group, who else is in there? Is Dignitas correct? That's in that group?
No, it's actually Fnatic.
Oh, okay, it's Fnatic that's in that group. What do you think about your chances going into that matchup?
Fnatic is probably either the team I have the most respect for in this tournament, or the second most. I really respect MVP and Fnatic, as well as L5. Those are the 3 big teams in this tournament. So I think it's going to be a really challenging match. But we came out strong today, and we're going to come out fighting versus Fnatic as well.
All right, any last shout-outs before we send you on your way?
Obviously, shout-outs to our new sponsor, Roll20. They're awesome. It's a great way to play online RPGs with your friends if you want to check it out. And shout-out to my team for showing up, and shout-out to you guys for being here.
Oh, thanks very much, mate. All right, let's check in with the groups to see how things have gone down so far in Group A. As you can see that we do have those 2-2-0s off the back of things. MVP Black and Roll20 finishing up just moments ago with a 1-1 score. A lot of people wouldn't have predicted that going into that series, but Roll20